Alright, let's have some fun with setting different routes and controlling a group to move it to various locations within the battlefield. I'm going to show you some stuff on what the Moves framework can do for you and how easy it is to actually manipulate group objects. First thing that I have done here is I've added a vehicle 001, and I'm just going to create and build incrementally a couple of things. And hang on please, this is going to be really interesting for you to watch. So this is going to be a vehicle, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to let the vehicle drive along the runway to around here. Now the question that then comes is, how do I do that? How can I get the vehicle from here to there? Well, basically it's very simple. I know the current location of the vehicle, and I just need to find the distance and the angle that I want to let this vehicle drive. How do I do that? Well, there's this measurement tool here, and I can just measure from here approximately to here how far that is. And that would be 3.5 kilometers at 157 degrees, a bit slower, 157 degrees, around that. Okay, so remember that, 3.5 kilometers at 157 degrees. So, I'm going to get to my script here. First thing that I'm doing is, what's my vehicle group, right? Since I'm not spawning anything, it's already there. I just need to retrieve it. So I'm doing group, find by name, and then the vehicle was called vehicle 001, right? So now we got an object, vehicle group, that we can start manipulating, and that object is of the class group. Group extends controllable, and controllable is basically a method, is basically a class that does a lot of stuff. Let me show you controllable. Controllable has a lot of things here documented. Now that we have a vehicle group, remember it was 3.5 kilometers at 157. What I want to do now is get the current coordinate of the group. How do I do that? Coordinate. Get coordinate. And that's going to be the from coordinate. And I make this a local variable. So now within from coordinate there is a coordinate object, and the from coordinate has a method called translate. Translate adds a distance in meters from the coordinate in the orthonormal space with the given angle and calculates the new coordinate. So let's use this. 3.5 kilometers in meters is 3,500 meters, if you remember very well, at an angle of 157. Right, so now we're back into the mission editor. We can't just let the vehicle drive like this. We need to create what we call waypoints. Now, waypoints is nothing more than a point in a route. However, there's an additional complexity, and that is when you compare waypoints of ground units and air units, they look different. For an air unit, the type looks like this. You know, flyover point, takeoff from runway, etc. While a waypoint for a ground unit looks like this. It specifies the formation. As such, we need to do something. We need to create waypoints specifically for the type of unit that you are controlling, which can be a ground waypoint or a air waypoint. And for this reason, when we do scripting, from the coordinate objects that you have, you are expected to create waypoints. And I'm going to do this like this. I create local variable and I do from waypoint is from coordinate double point, and then I can do waypoint ground, and I can say speed and formation, but these are optional because it's my source, right? It's where I'm coming from. So now I'm doing to waypoint equals to coordinate double point waypoint ground, and here I would like to specify that the tank needs to drive at 70 kilometers per hour and in V formation. And you can easily get the formation strings by looking at this and then looking at the type, and you just need to type over echelon left, echelon right, V. I don't know what we need to do with custom. I think that's something I need to check into later. I hope I can make templates maybe one time. That would be great at random. Okay, so this is my route. Now my tank isn't really driving, so now I need to make it moving. So what I do is vehicle group, double point, and now I can do route. There's a method called route. Okay, what does the method take? A route. What does a route look like? Well, it's nothing more than a list of waypoints, which I have because I've defined them here. So I do here from waypoint to waypoint, right, as a list, and then a delay in seconds, which is optional and defaults to 1. So when I don't specify that, I will have 1 second, but if I specify that, like 5 seconds, then my tank will start to drive. So let me put this into my script. Here we are. And let's play. And as you can see, the vehicle starts driving. And it drives nicely across the runway, almost 157. But just note that, you know, it's an hexadecimal, sorry, it's a degrees, right? It's an integer value that we gave, and it may have been that I had to give like 56.5 or something, but it's just a demonstration. So this allows you to drive across a runway or something, right? Route isn't really optimal, is it? Because I always need this current waypoint, and that's not really advisable. Why wouldn't it be easy to just say, I want to get to this waypoint, right? Just very easy. Just would like to specify route to a specific waypoint with a speed and a formation. And fortunately, you can do that. So just remember that the method route on a group level, so on a group class, is actually meant to route vehicles or groups over multiple waypoints over a trajectory. While this one here, this example, we're just going to route to 1 point, and this can be a little bit simplified. Not much, because the method that we're going to use is the following. There is route ground to, and then what does it take? It takes something else. It takes a 2 coordinate, a speed, a formation, and delay seconds. The 2 coordinate is just the 2 coordinate here that we calculate, but we still need to have the from coordinate being calculated from the vehicle group get coordinate here. Now we can simplify this a bit by doing the following. 2 coordinate equals vehicle group get coordinate translate 156. I can delete this. All right, and I don't need, I just need the from coordinate. Sorry, what am I saying? The 2 coordinate is given. I don't need to do the from coordinate waypoint ground construction anymore. I don't need to do the 2 waypoint anymore. I just need to call now the route ground 2, and I give the 2 coordinate as the parameter. I'm giving the speed 72, the formation V, and a delay in seconds of 5 seconds. And also this will work. And this code is already significantly shorter. Let's put that in and let's play. And this is the result. Same thing, with much less code. All right, good. Now we're going to do something else. So that was routing. What I've just demonstrated is routing this ground vehicle towards an angle over a distance. But there is something else that we can do, and that is, I would like to route something to a zone. And how do I do that? Well, I have a zone here, say towards a zone, right? So, and this we can do a bit different. So I specified the zone name as zone 1, that's the name of the zone, which is a normal trigger zone. So my coordinate here is now needs to be changed from, I can leave all this, I just need to create a zone, new zone 1, that's the name, correct? And then get the coordinate from that zone and then drive towards the zone through this coordinate, and that's it. Let's see what happens. And you see very nicely this military vehicle driving towards the zone point. Now I would like to do something really special. And that is, I would like to create like 5 or 6 different zone points, and I would like this truck to drive to a random point on a continuous basis. And for this I need to explain something. Within the Moose framework we have the capability to actually put a callback function at the arrival point. So when the vehicle is driving and it arrives at the zone, then that arrival point here can be tweaked, can be extended so that a function will be called, a function really, a global function will be called of your choice in your script with given parameters. And as a first parameter, the group object of the object that is driving will be given, will be passed. And this is extremely powerful, so we can build something really, really nice. And I'm going to do this right now very quickly and explain the code how I built this. Before I do that, let me build some zones here, just like this. But you all know how this works. Let me cancel the video and come back. So what I've done now is I've extended the mission. I added 5 zones, zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I would like this vehicle to start and drive to one of these zones, and once arrived, drive to another zone, and this in a circle. I'm going to explain you how this mission building is going to work and what you need to do. Let's keep this code for a bit. The first thing that I'm going to show you is we need to build a zone list. So I'm doing we can make this a local variable, zone list equals, and then an array. And now I just need to specify not just the names of the zones, but the zone objects. You can perfectly put zone objects in an array. It's not a problem. Yeah. So you do like this, and then again, and I put like 5 zones with their respective name. So this list here has 5 elements and contains for each element a reference to a zone object. Got that? Zone list. Right. Second thing that I've done here, I got my vehicle. I don't need to coordinate anymore, but I'm just going to keep this just to have this copy paste. And now there is a function that we can call, and that is task function. But this is a little bit, let me explain you what task function does. So I can do the following. How to start? Task, so yeah, let me put it this way. Within DCS, when you do a route like this, right, I can specify the route of the group, right, and the vehicle will start driving. But I can also say, when you arrive to this point here, call a function and attach, so create a task, and the task function is called, and attach this task function to waypoint number 1 or 2. In this case 2, because waypoint number 1 would be this, waypoint number 2 would be this. Okay, so this is basically the trick. Keep that in mind when we are coding this. So the first thing that I'm building is I'm going to build a route. So let me put the route here, and I can't use the quick function route2 because this is going to be a little bit more complicated. So actually I'm going to delete all of this because this will confuse you completely. Just going to do from scratch. Route equals, so I'm building a list of route points. We got that, right? Then, as you remember, we had to have the from coordinate so vehicle group, and then we get, now it does it, great. So from coordinate vehicle group get coordinate, excellent. And then we want to get from that the ground waypoint. So we do waypoint ground. We do not need to specify anything, everything is defaulted. And actually that's going to be my from waypoint. No rocket science, we knew that already. Okay, second thing now is let's create the to waypoint, but the to waypoint to calculate it is a bit more difficult, right? So we got 5 zones here. So what we need to do here is, first I'm going to create the selection of the zone number that I'm going to take from the list, which is a number from 1 to 5. And you can do this very quickly. So zone number equals, you can do this very quickly in Lua with the math function called random. So when you, I don't understand why I didn't do that. You should give, yeah, I don't understand. You should give an IntelliSense result, but let's put it this way then. 1 to 5. Or you can also specify like this. You can say, I would like to get a number from 1 till the amount of elements that are in zone list. That's also possible. Okay? Now it does that. Math, and is it random? Math. Random. I don't know, it doesn't do it. The next is, so now we got the zone number. Now I would like to get the zone. So the zone 2, right, would be from the zone list, and then the index zone number. Correct? Now we have that. Now we know the zone. Now we can determine from the zone the coordinate. How do we do this? We say local zone coordinate, or to coordinate, because that's what we want to drive to, equals zone 2, and then, yeah, it won't IntelliSense here unless you say this here is of type zone. And now you say get coordinate. Right. So now the only thing we still need to do is to get the waypoint. So let me repeat. This is our from point, from where we start driving, our waypoint. Then we create a zone number, a random number from one of the zones. We look up the zone number in the zone list, so we get a zone object, and then we look at the to coordinate, which is going to be the center of the zone where we need to drive to, and the to waypoint can then easily be set by to coordinate waypoint to ground 72 formation V, right? Not a rocket science again. And then now we can let the vehicle drive towards the random zone. So let me do that. Vehicle group, Again, the route function, not route ground, route, and then between brackets, the two coordinates, the two waypoints, from waypoint to waypoint, and a delay in seconds like 5, or I'm gonna do 1 second because otherwise it takes too long. And this is now what I'm going to put in the mission, and let's see what happens. Save the changes. Right, fly. So after 1 second, my truck starts driving, and it just drives to one of these zones. But it doesn't continue, does it? It stops here. So what I want to do now is, when it arrived at this zone, I would like to recalculate another zone and route there. How do I do that? So as you can see, we have this waypoint here, which is the last waypoint. And this waypoint is key, because here we want to attach a action, a task, a function that will be called when this waypoint has been reached. There is a method called task route equals, and now vehicle. So there is a method in group that is called task function, which returns a task. And the task actually will call a function that needs to be given in quotes as a string. And I know this is a bit strange, but it works really like this, in a string. And this needs to be a global function within your script somewhere. Reroute, I'm gonna call it. Okay? And now we can say, at this waypoint, call this function here, which works with the method of the vehicle group or group set task waypoint. And there we need to give a waypoint, which is a to waypoint, and then the task. And the task is then task reroute. Okay. So that will create these two lines here, will make at the last waypoint the reroute function to be called. Now the reroute function, you see it coming, is a function we want to define. So let's define it. And what I actually would like to do now is, I would like to keep iterating, rerouting when the last waypoint is reached. So actually, I can just use what I've written here and wrap it up in a function. And this function will call itself function reroute. Yeah. And as a parameter is given the vehicle group. And I put an end here. And that's the reason why I did the Lua training, so that you understand these kind of statements here. Okay. And that's it. Now, as you remember, this function is not executed. You need to start it. So how do you start it? Well, we can just start rerouting the vehicle after the function has been declared. So here we can do reroute vehicle group. Note that this is a local variable, and the task function, once the reroute method gets called at the end of the waypoint, as the first parameter, the vehicle group is given as the first parameter automatically, and that's why we declare it here. Right? So let's try this. But before I get into the demonstration, a few other things, because I found that the vehicle stops unexpected suddenly. Not that it stops, it continues to the endpoint. The routine gets called, but then it doesn't. It seems like it starts, but then it stops immediately. So there is something wrong within DCS that I just don't know what it is. But let me review the code a bit still. So I'm tracing a routing message in the debug. I'm going to debug that and show you how to do that. I don't think we need this root array here. And then I'm determining the zone number, right? And I'm tracing the zone number using the rooted group that we got here. By the way, that was vehicle group. Like this, yeah. And then we get a from coordinate, a from waypoint then, right? And then I'm determining the zone to where we need to drive. We get the zone coordinate from the zone, the two coordinate I mean. Then we determine the two waypoints. That's by using the waypoint ground method of the zone of the two coordinates. And then we calculate the task function, we assign it to the waypoint 2, and then we route. So when I run this, and I hope it's gonna work, let me first re-import this. For some reason there's something not working within DCS 2.1, and it was perfectly working within DCS 1.5.7. Actually 1.5.6, because I'm not running 1.5.7. So let's see, it works, it arrives there, then it's beautifully turning and it's running. So it's checking a random zone, and then it turns again and it drives to the other. And it should do that consistently. Yeah, but for some reason that I don't know, could it be the accelerated time? I don't know. So sometimes it just stops. And it's not a timer issue, because you see it moving, like it wants to move, but it just stops it. It just stops driving. Now it's going well. I think it's a bug in 2.1, to be honest. There you go. You see the randomization active, right? And it's going fairly well at the moment. Yep. Excellent. So this seems to be working now. Very strange. Yep. So you can really look at this fast. No. Let it run for a while. Yeah, this seems to be working. Okay, I'm going to stop with this session, otherwise it will take too long. So I hope you learned something. I will publish this all in the documentation, and also make sure that everything is up to date really soon. But you can use this example here as a demo. Yeah, the example name that I'm using here is this one. So it's a GRP 503 NTTR route at waypoint to random point. This is the example that I will publish. And you can see as well, you know, in the test mission, the tracing active. You see these route messages, and the number here is the route number to where it is routing, which is traced here, right, at line 23. So that's what you see here. So line 20, line 23. And it's doing it fairly well. So I think maybe this was just a glitch that I've seen while running another mission, because now everything is working perfect. So I thank you very much for your attention on this subject. I'm going to do some other group demos just to show you what group can do, because I haven't really documented these things in very much detail. And there's so many things you can do with groups, really. I should really get into this a bit better. So thank you and bye-bye. Yeah?